So now we have what's called the Professional Counselor TPC, and this is a journal that's been published by NBCC since 2011. And as you can see, the Professional Counselor is a peer-reviewed open access academic journal, and it's really designed to cover a wide range of topics. And I don't know if any of you all have done any publications in your career, but the TBC is an excellent way for we as counselors to do some research and to have our ideas and experiences published. Now, I have had the privilege of having, I believe, about 7 or 8 publications throughout my career. Don't have anything published in the TPC, but I do have publications in other peer-reviewed journals. And just to take a quick survey, is there anyone on today's call that has publications either in the TBC, or do you have any publications that you would like to share? And you can either drop your response in the chat box, or you can drop your response, or you can say it verbally. But I'm just curious, how many of you all have had the privilege and pleasure of publishing something? And a few people who have responded are saying no, they have not, no publication. So some people say they finished their dissertation, and certainly you can get some publications out of your dissertation. But the majority of the people who have responded on the chat box is saying that they have not had any experiences with publications. And just to share with you kind of a quick sidebar, I became a counselor as I mentioned, in 1982. Unfortunately, around 1990, 1991, I started to experience some burnout. And the reason that I started to burn out is because I found myself just in a rut, doing the routine things as a counselor on my job. And I decided to do some writing just to see if I can get something published. And so I ended up writing a article on a subject that was very popular around that time, and that was crack cocaine among African American teens. And keep in mind, I was living in the city of Detroit at the time. So I wrote an article on African American teens and crack cocaine, and I submitted it to a journal out of Cleveland, Ohio. It was called Addiction and Recovery. And I submitted my manuscript thinking that it's going to be rejected, or probably they were just going to throw it away. To my surprise, they expressed an interest in the manuscript. They sent it back to me. They wanted me to tweak it, which I did. It was no big deal. And out of that, I was able to get my first publication in 1992. And out of that publication, I was invited to give a presentation in Buffalo, New York on this particular topic because they were also having problems with African American teens and crack cocaine. So I'm only referencing this is because, after doing counseling for so many years, sometimes we do get burnout, we do get bored. And I just found writing and trying to get something published as the way to keep me rejuvenated, because after 41 years, it's hard to keep the enthusiasm up. But so if you have not thought about doing some writing, if you have not done any publications, I would invite you to do so. And if nothing else, you can also, confer with your colleagues just to see if you all have a mutual interest in doing some publications. Because if you're like me, you have a lot of experience, you've seen a lot of things, whether it involve ethics, whether it involve different counseling theories, whether it involve cultural diversity. There's just so much that we as practitioners that we have experienced that other people need to know. And so I would encourage you all to consider publishing. And this journal, the TPC, is probably an excellent starting point to submit your manuscript to. And so again, I'm just putting it out there for you to consider expounding on your knowledge. Okay. And again, I got into public writing because I became burnt out. And so it's helped to keep me going. Wait a minute, let me go here. Okay. So now I want to talk about this next foundation under NBCC. And this, of course, is the Center for Credentialing and Education, or known as the CCE. And as you can see, it was established in 1995. And this particular branch, it provides practitioner organization with assessment, business support services, credentialing, including counseling supervision, addiction counseling, and others. And this is also the organization that that approved the credentials called the ACS, the Approved Certified Supervisor. And as you know, that is a national clinical supervision that's exclusively for counselors. So the center or the CCCE is the one that issued that particular credential. And it's a good credential to have because, again, it's a national clinical supervisor credentials for those of us who are counselors. And hopefully by now, as I'm going through the different branches, you can see how extensive NBCC is. And so when it comes, this next slide, it looks at the NBCC specialty certificate. So I can imagine that some of you all on the call are a national certified counselors. Some of you all are a certified clinical mental health counselors. Some of you all are perhaps master's addiction counselors. And some of you all are perhaps national certified school counselors. And I know for me, I'm an NCCC, and I am an MAC. And obviously, with all of these specialties, we all have to follow some type of code of ethics. But again, these are just specifically designed for counseling.